All this bullshit they put me through had one singular objective, and the objective was to make me say sorry. That's all they wanted, because once they get that, he's not top G anymore. Look, he was top G. We hit him with the system. Look, he's sorry. And they can't fucking stand that I've never said sorry.
So I'm sorry to anybody who is offended. I'm sorry to anybody who's offended. I'm just going to say I didn't do it. I'm just going to say that I didn't play the song. I don't find the song funny. So I've learned my lesson. No, I've learned.
How can you go from being the most Googled man on the planet, someone who defied cancel culture itself and defended free speech for so long, to becoming such a huge disappointment and apparently a sellout?
But you need to find a way, to some degree, to escape the matrix.
Yeah.
I've literally escaped the matrix in nearly every form.
Resist the slave mind? Escape the matrix? The reason people are giving up on Andrew Tate and his brother now is because they specifically warned us about people like them.
Most people's hearts and souls can be bought. They try and get a degree of leverage over you, or they try and bribe you, or they try and get you to sell your soul. So when they can print unlimited money, why would they go the route of violence? They can just print unlimited money and give it to somebody and own them.
Yeah.
It's like they prepared us on how to detect their fall off, because sadly, now they are part of the matrix. The entire Western media tried to portray them as these evil people and as a threat to society. They failed. And then, ironically enough, the only people who managed to destroy their legacy were themselves. And they did a marvelous job. Only took them 2 weeks.
You're Jewish?
You knew this. That's why you're here, damage control. There's no other reason you'd agree to do this.
And here's why I believe the media failed at smearing his name back then. He had this huge, loyal following. He had the Red Pill, he had young men, he had traditionalists. And after his reversion to Islam, he had this huge Muslim following too. It was those groups that carried him through all the cancellation attempts. And he betrayed them all. A lot of people used to make excuses for his shortcomings, me included, and passed off some of his outrageous claims and remarks as humor and entertainment. But those excuses became harder to make as he became more extreme and unreasonable. And at the same time, he abandoned his old follower base and replaced it with right-wing populism. And he tried his best to appease his new audience at the expense of his old audience, pushing agendas that we know so well from a specific group of people that shall remain nameless for now. His Twitter timeline is filled with anti-Islamic and anti-immigrant rhetoric. He makes false claims about crimes and murders being committed, blames it all on the Muslims and the Browns, all proven to be false, of course. But he did cause violent riots in England with those false claims. Did he apologize for that mistake back then? No, of course not. He stood on business, as he likes to say. No accountability taken. No apology for a clear mistake. So why was he so quick to fold and apologize for that song being played in that Miami club? Why would he go on an apology tour, podcast after podcast, repeating the same apology over and over again? The guy who always speaks his mind and would never go back on his word. I think the answers are in those same apology podcasts. So let's have a look.
I understand how these things get attached to my name. It's very inconvenient for me. I have Jewish business partners. I have tech teams in Israel. I have things going on, and I get a mess from this crap too.
Again, involved in my company, so I live in Dubai. My tech team's actually, mainly Israeli dudes. These are guys I rely on who could pull the plug on my entire company. That's a very different. I just told you I'm dating an Israeli girl right now. Yeah. She's Israeli and Jewish.
Tech teams in Israel, Israeli business partners, Israeli girlfriend. There is a pattern here. Andrew Tate himself once said that if you have enemies, the first way they're going to try to get to you is via a woman. It's frustrating when someone knows the tricks but still falls for them. I mean, people already knew that he had this Israeli business partner that runs his war room members club with him. But tech teams in Israel? Really? That could pull the plug on all of your businesses? What, is India not a thing anymore? Do tech teams not exist anywhere else in the world? What could have made them choose that location, giving their money to a government that is said to be allegedly committing war crimes as we speak, when they have been very vocal in the past against that? It was either the cheapest available, which is unlikely because India, or they got blackmailed and pressured into choosing those tech teams. Be it as it may, it sounds a lot like they brought up anything they could to make themselves look like friends to Jewish people and Israel, just to take off some of the pressure. Well, too bad that didn't quite work out for him, because that move made him lose not only the last bit of Muslim following that he had, but also a lot of the right-wingers and America First people that he tried so hard to win over. Suddenly, his tweets become very manic. He gets constantly ratioed and he deletes tweets left and right. The people have lost their trust in him completely. First, they lost the trust in his physical capabilities after he lost that boxing fight. And that is important because he always branded himself as this 4 times kickboxing world champion, and then loses against Chase Moore. But we can look past that. I mean, the guy's not in his prime anymore. What's more important is he goes against everything he used to stand for by bowing down to the Matrix.
But when you're like me and you don't care about money and you also have morals as a person, I am their threat. They can't buy me.
He takes a gambling deal.
Andrew is the new CEO of Misfits, and Misfits is sponsored by Duel.com.
He supports a war-hungry government.
Bro, let's take all of it. Let's take Colombia. Let's take Mexico. Let's take all of Europe. Bro, I wish America would just invade Europe. Take Greenland. What the fuck are Denmark gonna do? There's no such thing as international law. There's just violence.
And he goes on an apology tour for a song.
Sorry to anybody who was offended.
So the 2 things that made him the famous person that he is were lost in the span of a couple of months. So as I said, the physical part, not so important. I mean, the guy's a bit older now, and everyone loses sometimes. It's the quick and sudden shift in political views that are concerning. The apology tour, that's the real disappointment. And I mean, the switch up was so quick and sudden that it does make you feel like they are being blackmailed and pressured. So despite everything, I still give them the benefit of the doubt, but their words don't count for much anymore. The Tates are compromised.